the whole like digital movement where it's like, now we have, I mean, 200 years ago, you didn't have your own copy of, the Choying Zid to haul around, right? Like that was like, there was one copy and it was on like the top shelf of the monastery, and only the head of the monastery could actually, decide who gets to read it. So this idea that like everything is widely available, everything is, there's no gates, there's no gatekeepers. You can read whatever you want, you can study whatever you want. That's pretty unheard of, and we're very
There's a,
fortunate in that situation.
there's a real danger, though, that you can also get very confused very quickly,
Yes.
especially when you get into these philosophical texts.
Yeah.
Taking like Dzogchen, for example, and really putting it under the lens of logic and reasoning. All of a sudden you're reifying these experiences. So in a sense, yes, it's amazing. We have access to all these teachings, but there's such a danger now that people confuse. And that's why I think that the wrong view of the Rime philosophy is thinking, oh, I can take parts of all these different things because I've read about them. I don't need a teacher. I can do it myself. And then all of a sudden you have a path that's just reinforcing samsara rather than liberating you from it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so important. I mean, I was going to jump in there and say that the Rime Center provides this safe place to experiment and this safe place to read these texts, to get an explanation about them and see how they fit in, not only from hearing them and contemplating them, but also meditating with them. You know what I mean? Getting the good advice of experienced teachers and guiding them on the way. So yeah, it's a great thing.
I do want to mention, especially kind of the student-teacher relationship, I think sometimes can be a little misunderstood. When we talk about the student-teacher, from my own experience, and I'm going to very much talk about from my own experience, I find it as a mentorship, almost like any kind of like journeyman type process. If I'm going to build a wall or be a great electrician, I could read a book about it, but I'm probably going to shock myself. The wall will probably tumble down pretty quick or be uneven. So working with someone who's skilled and experienced with that craft allows me to generate my own mastery quicker, faster, and in a way that allows me to avoid a lot of pitfalls. And so I think I see it the same way with the student-teacher relationship in Buddhism, that, it's not about just, I can't just read a book. It's because you could read a book, but it's going to take you longer in your practice. And having a teacher as a mentor where you can ask the questions and they can see when you're getting off track or a pitfall, to really help correct that, so that way you don't succumb to that and get caught up, for weeks, months, or years because you're stuck on something. And that's, I find having those teachers is much better. And at least for my practice, I have found that mentorship exceedingly helpful.